All right, welcome back. Now, in this video, we are going to set up your Security Plus home lab. Now, if you are going to do everything that I'm going to be doing, or if you want to follow along with everything else that I'm going to be doing as a part of this class, you need to set up a home lab. And this is a simple home lab that you can use for all your Security Plus related things that we're going to do as a part of this class. So, first thing you need to do is to download the VirtualBox. And what's funny is I've been downloading VirtualBox for years and years and years, and it looks like they finally changed their website. So that's kind of nice. So go to virtualbox.org and then click on downloads. And once you're here, I am using a Windows computer, but you can grab one for Mac or Linux. So I'm going to click on the Windows host. And then here, let me go ahead and just drop this into the download section here, right? Just the download section. I'm going to save that there. And then I will go into the download folder so that I can get the whole installation going. So I can go ahead and install VirtualBox. So let me go ahead and bring this right here so you can get to see it. Now this is the download section. So I'm going to just go ahead and double click on VirtualBox and get the whole downloading going. So once you double click on it, it's gonna kick in the installation process. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring this installation wizard here, and then click on next. Then I'm gonna accept the terms and click next again, and then click yes to kind of accept the Python and some of the other things. And here they want to create the desktop. They want to create basically shortcuts of the VirtualBox, and then I click next, then click on install. VirtualBox, it's a hypervisor, a virtualization hypervisor that we're going to use to basically virtualize our lab environment, right? So give it a minute. It's not a big program. It should be done in a minute. So give it just a second and it should be finishing up. There we go. It's done. Let's leave this selected and click on finish. It's going to go ahead and just basically run VirtualBox automatically. There we go. It just did. As you can see the icon there, I'm going to click on that. And this right here, my friends, this right here is VirtualBox. Fantastic. Now that we have this hypervisor known as a VirtualBox, the next thing we need is to download the tools that we're going to use. So I'm going to minimize that and minimize this one more time. The tool or the distribution that we're going to use is Kali. Specifically, we're going to get Kali Purple. Yeah. So go to kali.org, then click on the downloads. And once you're here, I want you to click on installer images. And that's going to kind of scroll down where you can see the regular Kali, but that's not what we want. We want the Kali Purple. This is their blue teamer Kali. So scroll down a little bit, which is, you can still do all the penetration testing things within that Kali, but there's additional tools within it for the blue teaming and things like that as well. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit here, and then I can see Kali Purple. Let's go ahead and download this. I'm going to click on this little download icon. And I'm going to save this into an organized location. So I'm going to click on this PC. I'm going to double click on my C drive. And right here, create a folder that's known as a home lab. You can call it whatever you want. But a home lab, I'm going to double click on that. And let me just save that Kali there. There we go. Another thing that we need, we're going to have this Kali kind of attack a vulnerable machine. That vulnerable machine is known as a Metasploitable. So I'm going to go ahead and just go to, you can Google this, just Google Metasploitable2, or you can click on the link. I'll put the link to all of these into the kind of description section so you can click on them. So once you're here, click on downloads. It should be able to download this automatically as soon as you click on the link. The link is in the source forge as well. So I'm going to click on the downloads. It's going to take me to where I can save this. And I'm gonna go to this PC C drive home lab, and then Metasploitable is already there because I had already downloaded right there. So I'm gonna cancel that, right? I'm gonna cancel that. And the last thing I need to download before we go ahead and get started with installing these things is 7-zip. So 7-zip is a program that we can use to unzip files. So go to 7-zip.org. Then once you're here, click on downloads. And then here, click on the 64-bit, depending on your operating system. So I'm going to go ahead and get the 64-bit. Let me just drop that into the download section. I'm going to click on that, and then let me open the download section again. Now we have 7-zip right there. And I double click on this just so I can install. I click OK for the pop-up, and I click on install. It's not a big program. Now it's done. All right. Click on close, and we are good to go. We have the two VMs, or the two programs, if you will, and then we have a hypervisor that we're going to be installing everything on top of. So let's locate where those things are. So I'm going to click on this PC, go to the C drive, go to Home Lab, and we have these two things here. Right? We have the ISO, and then we have the Metasploitable. The first thing we need to install is the ISO, but before we do that, let's go ahead and just extract Metasploitable. So I'm going to right-click on the Metasploitable, and I'll go to Show More. Then right here, I should be able to see the 7-zip, the program I just finished downloading. Point to 7-zip, then extract here. Right? Select extract here. Click on that, and it's extracting right now. It's not a big program. It's going to be finished pretty much right now. Again, let me recap this. Metasploitable, it's a vulnerable machine that we're going to attack, that we're going to scan. Through all the labs we're going to do in this Security Plus training, this is the vulnerable machine that we're going to kind of be scanning and attacking. On the other hand, Kali Purple, on the other hand, we're going to use this as our blue team, red team kind of a tool where we're going to be able to attack Metasploitable, but also be able to scan Metasploitable for those kind of a blue team skills as well. So I'm going to right-click on Metasploitable, and let's rename this. I can also go to show more, and then I can click on rename. Windows is making hard for certain things. So I'm gonna call this Meta, just like what Facebook did, calling their stuff Meta. I'm gonna call that Meta, and then we have everything we need right there. I'm gonna go back. Now let's install this first, and then we're gonna finish by installing Meta as well. So now that we have everything we need, let's go to VirtualBox, bring up VirtualBox. I'm gonna make this full screen so you can see this a little bit better. The first thing we're going to need to install is the Kali Purple. So now that you're here, go ahead and click on New. And here, let's give it a name. I'm going to call this Kali Purple. All right, keep the name simple as well. And for the ISO, let's go ahead and click on the drop down and click on Other, so that it can allow us to select the ISO. Then we're going to kind of go to this PC, go to C drive, go to Home Lab, and then select the ISO image. Click Open. And they're going to go ahead and kind of pre-select the type of operating system, which is Linux, and the version, which is Ubuntu. Basically, Kali Purple runs Ubuntu behind the scene as well. We can change some hardware here. We can kind of increase the memory if we want to, or the processor if we want to. Actually, let me go ahead and do that since I have enough here. So the base memory, they have like 2 gig. Put those there. Let me go ahead and push that to 8 so that this thing can kind of finish quickly. And for the processor, let me go ahead and just grab 2 processors as well. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to click OK. And here we are, right? Now, all I need to do right now, after doing that, is to right-click on Kali Purple, go to Settings, and make a few other changes here, right? Kali Purple, go to Settings. Once you're here, you can also still kind of change the memory and things like that. But I want to be able to change the network. So go ahead and click on the network. And you will see that where it says Adapter 1, it's enabled. And it's saying enable network adapter, and they're telling us our Kali Purple is attached to a NAT network. So let me go ahead and bridge this adapter. I'm going to go ahead and just click on bridge the adapter. because I want my Kali Propo to be able to communicate with my physical machine, right? There are some things that you're gonna do later in the lab where maybe you can scan your physical environment, you can scan for phone and things like that that are connected on your Wi-Fi, right? So now that I have bridged the adapter there, I just need to click OK. There's really nothing else to do there. Click OK. And then let's go ahead and power on this guy. All right. So click on start, or you can double click on it. And then it's going to go ahead and go into the process of installing this. Now, for the Kali Popo, we're going to install everything from scratch. Right. That's the beauty of this. So there we go. I'm going to close this little pop-up here. So put this here so you can get to see it. There we go. I don't know if you can see it. There's a way of a kind of messing with the resolution, but for now, I'm going to keep it the way it is. So here we are. Using your keyboard, you can go up and down. You're using your arrow key on your keyboard. So I'm going to select the graphical installer and press enter. And then it's going to go ahead and go into the process of installing this. Basically, walk me through the process of installing Kali Propo. This is as equivalent of installing a Kali from scratch, right? When I close the pop-up again, they're asking me for the language. Make sure English is selected. Click continue. United States, that's where I'm located. Click on continue. And American English, yes, continue. Again, feel free to change those according to where you are in the world. Okay. It's going in, it's kind of loading everything. It's basically copying things from that ISO file into this virtualized environment so that we can be able to have like a running machine that's running on top of another machine. That's exactly what we're doing right now. Okay. Go ahead and detecting hardware. So VirtualBox is what we normally call a hypervisor. And what a hypervisor does, it virtualized your physical hardware. Basically, is lying to this Kali Propo. We call this a VM, a virtual machine. It's lying to this Kali Propo, telling it, hey, look, you do have a virtual, hard disk. Do you have RAM, or you have CPU, all the hardware that is needed for a computer to run. There we go. It came out and is saying, hey, we got to change the host name. He's saying Kali. I'm going to keep it Kali. I'm going to keep it just Kali, and I click on continue. So asking us to set up a domain name. We don't want to do that. Just click on continue. Full name for the user. I'm just going to keep it simple. Give it this thing my name. So it'll be Arthanas. Next. It's going to say, hey, you want to use Francois as the username. I'm okay with that. Click on continue. And right now it's asking us to set up the password. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep it something very simple. All right, and then I click on continue. For the time zone, select whichever you are. I'm in the Eastern time zone. I'm going to click on continue. And we should be finishing up in a minute. So give it a minute to load up everything. Right. Earlier, I selected 8 gigabytes of RAM. You don't have to. Kali can run, Propo can run on 2 gig, but that 8 gigabyte makes things goes a little bit faster. Right now, it's asking us to format the hard drive. Basically, we're saying, hey, do you just want to copy everything into this entire disk? I'm going to say, yep. Click on continue. You sure you want to do that? I'm going to say, absolutely. Then let's go ahead and continue. Now, all files in one partition. Yes. Continue. And it looks like we're finishing up things, right? I'm going to go ahead and click on continue again. And it's asking me, hey, you sure you want to write all these changes? I'm going to say, yes, I'm sure. So make sure yes is selected. Click on continue. So basically, it's a lot of continue, right? So this might take a minute. I'm going to pause the video, then I'll come back once this one is finished. All right. After waiting for a minute, here we are. Looks like everything, it just finished doing everything. I'm going to click on continue. Don't change anything here. Don't mess with this. Just accept the default. It's asking the desktop environment that's going to use. So click on next. And it's going to continue kind of downloading things. And I'm going to pause the video. I'll come back once this is finished. And here we are. This took some time. This did took some time, but here we are. Now that you're here, make sure yes is selected for the grab Yeah, I was about to say Grubhub. I guess I'm hungry. And then click and continue. And right here where it says enter device manually, you don't want to do that. Just select that device that they highlighted. This is like your virtual hard disk, if you your virtual box. Click on continue. And then it's going in. It's kind of a finalizing things. It's finalizing the loader, and then finish up the installation. Okay, and after waiting again, here we are. All right, it took a little bit longer, but again, that's because I'm only doing the 8 GB of RAM and then the two processor as well. So go ahead and click continue. It should kind of reboot this virtual machine now, so that we can go ahead and just sign in. All right, the system is rebooting. You do not press any key. Just let the system boot up. I'm going to sign in with the username Francois, the username that we created, and the password that we set it up when we were setting things up. And I'm going to press enter on your keyboard. And this it might look like the regular Kali, but it's not. This is Kali Purple. And here we are. I'm going to just go ahead and click to kind of zoom in there. And here we are. This is Kali Purple. All right, few things we need to do here. So click on the terminal here, the black looking thing there. And Kali Purple will come up, and I'm going to say ifconfig to kind of check my my IP addresses. So we have ETH0, and if I look at the INET, this is my IP address right there. I am on 192.168.114.134. This is my this is my bridged adapter IP addresses. Basically, my virtual machine, the one that you're looking at right now, is communicating with my physical machine, right? It's on the same router as where everything else is. It's on my network. And one way to find that out. So if I go to start menu for my physical machine here, then I bring my CMD, my command prompt, and they try to ping that IP address. So if I can be here and ping, actually, let me do IP config here to find out the IP address of this thing. If I go to the Wi-Fi, if I can see where the Wi-Fi is, LAN, there we go. That's Wi-Fi. Looking at the IPv4, this is my IP address right there, 192.168.114.142. So I can ping either from here to either one to try to see it. Let's ping from the Kali so you can kind of see it there. So I'm going to do ping 192.168 if I can type. Try again. Let's ping. Let me also zoom in here for you. Click on edit and then zoom. Let's go ahead and make this a full screen so you can see this a little bit better. There we go. And then type in ping 192.168.114.1. What was it? Let's bring back the CMD. There we go. 114.142. Right, 142. Press enter. It's now working. And you got to love Windows 11. Microsoft included a lot of security in Windows 11. Actually, Windows are, I want to say, the most secure computers. All right. I know my Linux people might hate me for saying that, but it's pretty secure. So I'm going to do Control-C on the keyboard to stop the ping. But Kali cannot ping window. But if we try from window perspective, we should be able to ping Kali, Kali Purple. And the reason window it's not reachable is because of the Windows firewall. Windows firewall, it's going in, is blocking this literally. So let's go ahead and clear the screen with CLS. Let me see. CLS. Yep. I usually confuse this with the CLR, something like that. All right. That's why I wanted to, make sure that you can see it. Anyway, so let's go ahead and ping Kali. Kali is on that. So let's go ahead and ping Kali. Ping 192.168.114.134. Press enter and voila. Right. My Windows, this is my physical machine right now. My Windows, it's able to ping my virtual machine, which is Kali Purple. And How do I know that? Well, I can look at the ping statistics here. 4 packets were sent, right? Packets that were sent are 4. 4 packets were received, and 0 packets were lost. So that's how you know the ping is working. But again, if you see things like this, it's literally telling you the ping is working. You're like, okay, what the heck is ping? Well, ping is a way of checking if something is up and running. It's like, calling you, hey, buddy, can we talk? Or, hey, buddy, are you up and running? Behind the scene, this is something I might dig a little bit deeper into the course, but behind the scene, it's literally sending 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 behind the scenes. So if we were to use Wireshark and take a look at what's taking place between these two computers, that's exactly what's taking place. Either it's sending numbers or it's sending letters like A, B, C, D, E, F, D, or all the way to Z. Right? That's literally what is being sent, and the computer have to reply back with the same thing, basically telling you, hey, the other machines, hey, yeah, we can talk. I'm good to go. All right, now that's done, let's do a few things on Kali. I'm gonna clear the screen. Within Kali, you clear the screen by typing in clear, the word clear. And here, let's go ahead and update the tools. So, but first, let's check to see the update, the kind of tools that we might need to be able to update. I'm gonna say sudo. Sudo is a way of becoming root, becoming the administrator. So sudo update. And then I'm going to type in the password for Francois, the user. And then we can see that we have over 900 packages that needs to be upgraded. So I'm going to go ahead and type in sudo upgrade. All right. And then we're going to put a /y. /y means yes, right? We're saying, hey, if there's any pop-up that comes up, go ahead and just approve it. Go ahead and just say yes to it and then just keep going. It's going to go ahead and start updating everything and upgrading everything for us. So make sure you do this. And once this is finished, we're going to go ahead and install the Metasploitable or the Meta. And then once Meta is done installing, there's really nothing to install with the Meta. It's just basically adding that VirtualBox. It's a lightweight operating system. There's not a whole lot of going with the Meta. So just gonna basically import that into VirtualBox. We're gonna test the connectivity, make sure these two things are talking to each other. Once that's done, and we're done. Right, you basically have a basic lab that you can use for your Security Plus labs or your other security related work as well. All right, and here's a little pop-up here that they couldn't just accept it. That's asking us, hey, do you want to restart the service? We're gonna use the arrow key. Go ahead and just point it to yes, and then press enter on your keyboard. Usually, there could have been a lot of popping up, but that -y is going in is approving a lot of this. So this might take a minute. As you can see, we're still on 4%. So I'm gonna come back once this is done. Or if there's a pop-up that needs to be approved, I will come back again. But again, just keep saying yes to every pop-up that comes up if they, do come up. All right, I'll be back. There we go. So after waiting for a while, here we are. It finished upgrading everything, and we're ready to set up Meta or Metasploitable. So I'm gonna go ahead and close the terminal, and let's go ahead and bring up back VirtualBox. Let's minimize this as well. And let's go ahead and get back to VirtualBox. Go ahead and click back on a new, and this create a virtual machine pop-up will come up again. Let's give it a name. Let's call this Meta. It's for Metasploitable, but let's just call it Meta. And for the ISO image, we're not going to put anything there because, again, we are going to install this a little bit differently. But for the type of the operating system, it's going to pick it Linux. And for the versions, go ahead and go with the Debian, because Metasploitable is built on top of Ubuntu, and Ubuntu is a flavor of Debian. I'm getting ahead of myself now. But anyway, after that, let's take a look at the unintended. There's nothing to do there. For the hardware, we can increase this. Currently, it's like on the 2 gig. That should be more than enough. But let me push that to 4 just because I can. Um, and that's looking good. We don't need to, turn on that. But here on the hardware disk, we need to do a few things. We're not creating a virtual hard disk from scratch. We're going to use an existing one. So go ahead and click on use existing one, and then click on this little folder looking icon here. Now, once you're here, go ahead and click on add and navigate to the folders where we have everything stored. So go back to this PC, click on a C drive and pick Home Lab, double click on Meta. And then we should have a file here that's known as a Metasploitable. So double click on that or just click, then click on open. They're going to bring that in. Go ahead and click on choose. And then we should have the Metasploitable here selected. Then click on finish. Okay, now that we've done that, right click on this again and go to settings. Let's make sure they're connected on the same network, like same switch or virtual switch, if you will. So go ahead and click on network again. Then you see where it says NAT, select that, and let's bridge this adapter as well so that it can be able to communicate with Kali, but as well as with my physical machine. All right, click OK. And it's looking good. Let's go ahead and power this bad boy on. And then you can do that by double clicking on it or clicking on start. Okay, it's booting up this Meta VM. And usually goes in and just start, right? It usually goes in and just start without any problem at all. Okay, look at that. Well, it looks like, and this is a good lesson, by the way, it looks like we are running into some issues, right? This Meta or Metasploitable is not starting because of some kind of a kernel panic. It's running into some kernel panic, not syncing, and there's this IO APEC issue that is kind of preventing this from booting. So this is actually a pretty good lesson for you to basically learn. In cybersecurity, things are not going to work as they should. And one of the best skill for all cybersecurity people to possess is the ability to know where to find the answers. So right now, look, we just ran into these issues. Let's try to figure it out how to solve this. So what I'm going to do is close this by clicking on the X and select power off machine. Then I'm gonna do a little research and then I'll come back and try to implement that. So I will troubleshoot this live with you so we can solve this problem together. Okay, after a little research, it looks like we need to turn on something, right? So if you right click on this, go to settings, actually we need to turn off something and go to display, actually go back to general and go to advanced and scroll down a little bit. You should see this is the issue that we're having, the input and output APEC. So we need to unselect this. But the problem is every time you unselect it there, for example, let's unselect it and click OK. If you go there again, that thing is turned on again. So if we go back to advanced here, it's turned back on, right? This unenable input and output APEC, which is what is causing the problem for the system to not boot. So what we're going to do is turn this off from the command line interface from the terminal. So I'm going to click OK, and then I will double click on Meta, then press escape on the keyboard. Press escape on the keyboard so that they can allow me to turn this on from the command line. So double click on Meta, and as soon as it's starting booting, we're going to press escape. All right, waiting for it to come up, and here we are. There we go. So you didn't kind of see it, but when it was about to boot, there's a little thing that says, okay, press escape so that they allow you the ability to kind of edit meta as well. Okay, here there are a few things that they're showing me. They're showing me the kernel that I'm currently running. By the way, I'm having this problem, and maybe because it's not really maybe it's the reason that I'm having this problem. It's because of the newer version of VirtualBox that I am running. I used not to be like this. I have videos on YouTube and places where I do this, and it really doesn't kind of go into this problem. But anyway, here we are. And if you read over this, they're telling you use the upper arrow keys, these arrow keys on your keyboard to select with which entry. So you can go down, up, and down, and up like that. And then once you selected something, you can press E on the keyboard to edit it, right? To edit that particular thing. So what we're gonna do, we will press E with the first one selected. And it's allowing us to edit a few things. Root, which is exactly where we want to be. And there's these other, few places. But looking down here now, we've got additional options. So we can press the arrow key again to select to something. We can press B to boot. So once we finish editing what we want, we just press B and then it's going to reboot the system. E again to edit things, right? In the boot sequence. And in the boot sequence, we can press C for a command line or O to open a new line after. So basically, just follow what they said here. So gonna make sure root is selected because that's where we're gonna kind of turn, added the command to turn off the input and output issue. So I'm gonna press E again here. Now I am editing for the grab root. So here we're gonna say no. Oops. Let's not make a mistake here. Put that back the way it was. Put a little space here and then just said no APIC. I put that command in. No. APIC and ACPI equals off. Right? There is that's how you really got to type in, right? That's the command. We're going in and we're turning this thing off, right? I'm gonna press enter on the keyboard, and then now that has been taken an effect. All right, so go ahead and select the second one, the kernel one, and press E again to edit it. So press E on the keyboard, and it's gonna open that up. Then let's type the same command, the same command that we typed in the first one. So put a space, just like what we did before. So no APIC and no LAPIC and ACPI. I'll put the command off. I'll put the command in the description so you can maybe, see it a little bit better. But that's the command. All right, make sure you put a space there and then you just type that in. All right, I'm gonna press enter. Now that has taken effect. After that, you need to reboot the system. And the way you do that is by pressing B, right? Pressing B on your keyboard. So let's go ahead and do that. Now the system is starting. We should be able to boot up the computer without any problem at all. So let's wait and see. All right, it looks like it's booting just fine. This wasn't coming before. So remember, as soon as we turn this sucker on, it straight went to that issue, the error problem that we just fixed. All right, look at that. Looks like it booted it just fine. And when you looking at here, you can see the username and password. At the bottom here, you can see where it says login with, and there is MSF admin, and there's MSF admin. So that's the username and that's the password. Please write it down. This is a pre-selected for us. It's pre-created for us. So we're going to type in MSF admin for the username and press enter. And we're going to type in again MSF admin, then press enter again to sign in. Now, keep in mind when you were typing the password, they didn't show anything on the screen. That's how Linux is. Right? They don't show you the password when you're typing it. You kind of have to believe it's being typed. Um, if you run into some issues, they're telling you your password is incorrect, just try again. Okay. Now we're in. How we know we're in? Because of that $ right there, right? So what we can do here, we can type in ifconfig to find out what the IP address is. And here you can see from ETH0, if you take a look at the INET, the INET ADDR, you can see that our IP address is 192.168.114.175. And we can ping the Kali. So let's bring back the Kali Linux here. I'm gonna go back here, bring back Kali. And if your Kali have signed out, go ahead and sign back in. All right, and we have our Kali here. And let's go ahead and ping these two guys. So I'm gonna ping, say count C to 4, right? Count 4 times, and then I'm gonna ping this guy right there. So 192.168.114.175. I'm gonna press enter, and voila, it's pinging. It's working. Let me go ahead and kind of zoom in a little bit here so you can get to see this. But you can see it's working. Again, 4 packets were sent, 4 packets were received, 0 packets were lost. So it's looking good. These two computers are now talking to each other. We don't need to upgrade this, to update this, or do anything to the meta. Reason it's because this machine is just here. We're just gonna attack it and kind of scan it and things like that, right? We're not gonna do anything else special with it. And that's the lab setup. If you have this done, fantastic. You're good to go. Again, if you run into some issues with the meta, please leave that in a discussion section or comment section, and we will get back to you. We will make sure you're up and running if you run into any issue at all. All right, take care, and let's keep going.